Hi there, this is Peter Fan for Agent Builder Coaching and the 12th week of our Agent Advantage weekly blog newsletter, whichever way you want to put it. This week, in following of our attendance to two networking events for real estate agents in this particular case, but I don't think the attendance or the source of the attendance is relevant in this matter. It's really about business to business networking and what an incredible untapped goldmine that really is for real estate agents. And I mean that genuinely, sincerely, because every time that I go to one of these things, I do come away with business, direct business, and oftentimes a good deal of referral business. And there's, of course, incredible amounts of networking opportunities around, and all you have to do is look up and pay attention in your community and see what kind of networking opportunities exist. And if you feel they don't exist, then you create them. It's not that hard in this particular case. You live in a very small community and you start working with your local business community, your local agencies and departments of various entities, whether it is finance. If you want to keep it in specifically real estate related, why not then set up your own networking group of, your the businesses that you do business with, whether that is the lawyers, the inspectors, the photographers, the contractors, you name it. You get together once a month. Now you have your own BNI group, so to speak. BNI stands for Business Network International, which is a franchise company that you can certainly buy or become part of uh, almost like a license agreement or a franchise agreement. And it's a bit more formal, but why not think about meetups and what have you? If nothing exists, but look up. I can guarantee you there's networking opportunities in most, if not all, communities that you can just participate with and do it for the right reasons. Take the giver's gain approach. And yes, if you give enough, people will start paying attention and they give it back to you in spades. So it's a really, really solid yet underutilized opportunity for most people. And again, last week we had our Pivot to Prosper launch, and that whole concept of you thinking about a dramatically pivoting, changing marketplace in a different way and start looking for the opportunities that exist, then networking should be, if not at the top, very near to the top of where you ought to be focusing as a new set of opportunities for growing your presence, your overall awareness in the community, with the community. And it's huge. Just think about if you were part of one or two or three, however many networks in your community or outside of your community. It's all good. If you do work with a network of realtors from coast to coast to coast, but anywhere in North America, anywhere in the world for that matter, if you can predictably and reliably get 1, 2, 3 referrals from those sources per month, how that is going to change your business and how is it going to change your life and how it's going to make much more sense out of your dollar spend on advertising and whatever, because it's a relatively low cost. Yes, you pay a referral fee, but for 9 out of 10 cases, the people that you get referral are a whole lot more motivated to make that transition in their life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be seeking referrals. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking out in the marketplace for and putting their hand up, hey, we're thinking about doing this, that, or whatever, right? So the referral source from business to business networking is highly desirable to pursue, and therefore rightfully placed in this series of Pivot to Prosper, but also in the context of me personally attending 2 networking events, one in Nanaimo, one in Surrey, and yet to have been approached by any of the realtors that I attended, and I shook. I don't know. a few hundred hands, I'm sure, and talk to many, many people because, of course, I've been around for a long period of time. But if you haven't been, then it's an even more important issue, right? To introduce and reintroduce yourself to your peers, to your fellow realtors in different marketplaces, is a huge opportunity to generate referrals. Okay, never mind the fact that all of those events are then become tax deductible. It's a really good way to actually make your holidays and trips tax deductible if you go to conventions and sales rallies all over the country, and always make sure that you attend real estate offices, talk to real estate agents, have receipts of and or business cards of those events and situations. It's a justifiable expense as far as I'm concerned, and I've never been audited against it. So anyway, connecting with other people, making partnerships, building relationships is certainly part of many people's superpower, right? They want to make the world a better place in whatever that is that their niche, where their passion fits. So networking is very often a part of that. You may not necessarily see it as such, but you maybe have a passion for cleaning up the parks or the beach, or connecting with other people because of your pets or your hobbies or your sports or what have you. In essence, that is networking, right? So don't always think of it as this rigid, oh, I got to ask for business, got to ask for business. That becomes part of it, but it doesn't have to be the mainstay of it. In fact, if you download the resources that we give you, you'll find that there is a networking kit there with scripts and dialogues, and that very much is built on the old FRD concept, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, as conversation starters, as conversations advancers, and give you an opportunity to build and start those relationships without ever talking about any business whatsoever. So don't be intimidated by this whole thing of, oh, I've got to talk to people. It's part of the business. Okay, so do more of intentional conversations, but more importantly, be consistent in the follow-ups, right? There is a real need for people getting back to person-to-person, one-on-one interactions. Social media is not the same thing. And in fact, I'd be tempted to say that it's a really good time to really consider what you do and what you say and what your presence is on social media, and to maybe really, really think about what goes on there right now and what that says about us at this point in time. But that's for a different meeting. One-on-one interactions and in-group interactions through some structured networking is a really good way of building your network. Much more social media ever will be. Okay, so a little less of the random stuff. I used to say, or still say, go for smart lunches, smart cups of coffee, right? Have a purpose, meet somebody, talk to somebody, be in sync with somebody, and then offer something of value to them in return of you just meeting, right? You offering referrals is a really good way of doing it. Right. Here's a 20-second pitch. I help homeowners in Greater Victoria maximize value when they buy or sell. I also connect my clients to trusted local professionals. When you think real estate, I'd love to be your go-to agent. Right? It's clear. It's shows some confidence. And if it is to a business person, you can add to it. And what is your ideal referral? You can ask, right? Is anybody going to say, well, I really don't want your referrals? Well, probably they will, right? So systems run your business and you run the system. So follow up your connections, your interactions, right? And track it. So, hey, I made 10 contacts today. What did I do to follow up? And what did that follow up result into? And how do I follow up further? right? Again, in the kit, you're going to find 8 follow-ups in one of each of the programs. So there's 8 emails, there's eight text messages, there's 8 scripts there for you. There's a real opportunity for you to kind of embrace the whole notion of business to business networking and be 100% fully prepared for it all. Okay. Know your numbers, right? So I remember a gentleman realtor here in Victoria, and one of the things that he used to do is if there was a convention, he would, um, prepare to go to this convention, but he would always go a few days early, and he would literally travel the area, right, the region, and go to all of the predetermined um, real estate offices in that area to promote himself and encourage people to offer and give referrals to him and for him to reciprocate. And he would do all the numbers. He would know exactly which offices were the stronger offices and who in those offices were the stronger agents. And he would make appointments, and he would make a point for him to know that and let them know that he knew that, right? And with that, his return on investment of attending these events was greater from the week prior to the events than actually attending the networking, right? Because everybody's now chasing the same people. But at these personalized interactions a week prior and going from town to town to town in the region and making sure that he had connections. Now, this was a realtor here in Victoria, and of course, yes, Greater Victoria is very much a destination for many people in retirement or for careers or what have you. There's a military base. We've got a fair amount of RCMP works going on here. There's shipyards. So there's tourism. There's all kinds of reasons why people like to be here on various stages in their life. But look for what is important in your area, what people are looking for, and what opportunities exist, why people might just relocate to your community. And if it doesn't exist, create it. I mean, certainly the Western Canada is such a beautiful place on a global spectrum that it's not that hard to make us look good in a global perspective. Okay, so know your numbers, right? But then obviously know your marketplace. Okay, so your automatic lead machine really starts with business to business networking, right? Because think about it. If you had 5 active business connections that are really good, that will generate 1 or 2 referrals for you per month, right? All you then need to do is build that further out into, make it 5 to 10 referrals per month, right? And how much money is that going to save you in marketing costs? Really, all it would take you is reciprocate, right? Make sure that they get their referrals and their business grows and promote each other and help each other. Nothing wrong with it. And yes, if there's disclosure requirements necessary, then make sure you do that. If there's any compensation taking place, obviously that too needs to be um, disclosed and done properly. None of this is intended to give you carte blanche and saying, hey, I can bend the rules or the regulations. That's not what this is about. This is, in fact, going way beyond and, really go beyond and above reproach at many, many levels, right? The leads just don't come from ads. They come from your allies. They really come from your allies. And the sooner you can transition from these cold introductions to leads that become part of your network because somebody encouraged them to be in relationship with you. There is nothing more rewarding when you receive those. Nothing more, really. Okay. Now, how do you wow that? Well, do some special stuff, right? Handwritten thank you notes, a little Popeye gives, little middle social media shout outs. Hey, I just met so and so at business XYZ. They did just an incredible job for me, and I really encourage you to check them out. Right? That's how you help other businesses. I know of realtors that do business promotional interviews with other professionals, right? Whether it is their lawyer, the notary, but at local restaurants or attractions or government agencies and what have you, and use that as a promotion for that business, but also to make themselves look much more engaged with the community than people may be aware of, right? So it's a really good way of doing the reciprocal. What's in it for you is also good for you, for me, right? So download the kit for this week. There's a lot of stuff there. There's got scripts, there's trackers, there's entire campaigns. There's some really superior customer service, client services, resources, and tools there. And start implementing this. Schedule this. Make this part of your weekly program. Is that, hey, I'm dedicating X amount of time on my sphere of influence. But in addition to that, I'm also on purpose and on point, make sure that I make 25, 50, 100, however many contacts with local business to business opportunities, as well as your target audience of not local real estate agents, the people that you can refer to or that you should be expecting referrals to come back from. And those are people oftentimes in neighboring communities or just beyond what your own normal reach is. For me, for example, I go as far as, I typically say Cowichan, right? And in Souk, in Sydney, and what have you. Anything beyond that, I then refer out. So I have my network of people that I refer a lot of business to. And hopefully, in return, I've earned the right to get some of those referrals back from them. So it works both ways, and it really, really, really helps each other out. Okay? Now, that's on the realtor level, but your local network, your regional network, they become really good sources of referrals for yourself and from them to you, right? But you earn that because you're not alone, right? You're not the only agent in that pond. So you need to earn that. And it's not just top of mind awareness, therefore, it's top of mind of preference, right? So that they prefer you over everybody else. And that you can only reach when you truly wow your network. Okay? All right. So, like I said, every handshake matters, right? Build relationships today and you reap the referrals tomorrow. And there's no question that this is not an overnight success story. The proof is always in the pudding. You keep doing what you're doing really, really well and show that you really care, that it isn't just about a quick buck here or there. People will reciprocate and will recognize it. Now, again, if this is not your forte, then so be it. Do it a little bit of the hard way. Good business to business networks, 9 out of 10 cases have a higher return on investment than referrals from your sphere of influence. So it is definitely worth your while. Okay. Right. So again, download the kit, use it, apply it. If you have questions, you have challenges, if you need some assistance with building or growing your business, obviously that's what we do for a living. All of this stuff is free, but there's a part of me that actually wants to earn a living once in a while. So you can reach out for any coaching and personalized assistance and customization of any of your stuff. And wish you all the best. Subscribe, forward to a friend, refer them. That would be nice. And or book a coaching call. Thank you so very much for your time and attention. You have a fantastic week. All the best.